Good afternoon, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients. My name's Priscilla. This is my fellow crone, Heather, and we have another crone today, the lovely Aley Martin from Heart and
Thank
Soul
you.
Connected. Aley,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for being here today. It's
Yes.
always a delight. We
Oh, well,
really
thank you for
appreciate you
asking me
coming
to
on.
come. I should
We
show
love it.
everybody my shirt. I got my Crone shirt on. So
I
there you
love
go.
the shirt,
And it's pink.
and
And
it's
it's
pink to boot.
yeah. Yeah.
So today we're actually going to talk about women. What
Yeah.
kind of women are we going to talk about, Miss Aley? Empowered
Oh,
women?
empowering women and
Empowering women.
advocated women and
How
and
we keep
tribe.
going and how far
Yeah.
we've come.
How
Yeah, I
far
think
we
it's
come.
going to be a fun conversation today, and I hope the chat room will join us when
Mhm.
folks pop in. I hope they'll
Mhm.
join us in our conversation and see how it's affected them, how their lives have changed.
Right.
Yeah.
Being crones, our lives have changed a lot in the last 50 years.
Absolutely.
Well, if you even think about it, I mean, when I was graduating from high school, I applied to Cornell because I wanted to be a veterinarian, and got the letter back saying, "Sorry, we don't accept women." I wish I had the letter, but I
I
was
do
so
too.
mad I crumpled it up and threw it away.
As you
No, you were
would.
supposed to. You were
Anyway,
supposed to be
Dragon,
a stewardess, a teacher, a nurse. That was it, or
that was it.
secretary. Yeah.
Or you
Yeah.
could go to college, but if you went to college, and my dad thought this too, if you're going to college, you're going to try and find a husband.
Oh, black. Not.
Not. But that's
Sorry,
the
I
reason
love
he
being
was.
my husband,
He
but I
says,
was
"Well,
not
you're going to
looking for
marry a
husband.
farmer. You're going to Kansas."
Oh
Like,
boy.
what?
That's crazy.
Wow. That's
Hey, warrior
amazing.
girl, Emmy
Yeah.
J. Do you know Emmy J's name? I don't.
Mary Ellen.
Oh, it's
Jean
Mary
told
Ellen.
me this
Okay,
morning.
that's
Mary
easy. Hi,
Ellen. Yeah.
Cherie. Welcome. And Sun Psychic Jean, I hope you can watch later. It's no big deal. Don't worry about it. Who has time
Uh-huh.
for other people's show when we're so busy on
I
our
know we're
own?
busy.
It
Exactly.
gets really in the way of watching lives.
But before we start talking about what we're doing now and everybody empowering everybody else, I wanted to talk about where we were compared to 100 years ago.
Sure.
Because
Okay,
I found
that's
it
good.
really, really funny. Because when they were saying in 19...
Can you wait just a couple of minutes
Sure.
before we get started?
I just want to
we
make
can-
mention to White Dragon that this is not a male bashing show at all in any way. And
No.
so we're glad you're
You know
here.
that by now.
Yeah.
He should know that. He joins us a lot. We love our
Oh,
wife.
I'm glad he's here. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
Always glad he's here.
He gives good opinions.
Warrior Girl says she lives near Cornell.
Do
And they
ya?
accept- yeah, I'm sure they do accept females now.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. In fact, when I went to Kansas State University, I was going in the pre-vet program. And what I found out was that if you had a C or a B average and you were a guy, you could get into the school, but you had to be straight A to get in if you were a female.
Oh,
And you had to have an interview. And if in that interview they thought you might get married and have kids, they didn't want to teach you anything because you were going to get out of
Gotta
it
leave
and
anyway.
go with your
Yeah.
family. So you were not
That was
accepted.
the 50s, though. That's what people did. I mean,
It wasn't the 50s, it was the 70s.
well, by the time you got to college, though, but those
Yeah.
people had been there since the 50s and were raised in the 50s.
And I
They were.
sat down in one of the airplanes on the way home
Mhm.
next to a gal who was in the pre-vet program. And I've never met anybody so butch.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay.
So I'm going, okay, I understand now.
Wow.
Well, even in 1980, when I was 25 years old, I went in to work at a bank. And in my interview, I had a female bank manager interviewing me. She wanted to know if I had any kids, and I did. Well, what's going to happen to them when the kid is sick? Are you going to stay home with the kid? I said, well, she has a father and her grandparents are nearby. Well, are you planning on having any other kids? That was legal.
That's none of their business.
Oh, I know, but that was legal then. You
Yeah,
could
it
ask
was.
those crazy
Totally
questions.
legal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So how far
Infuriating.
have we come in the last 100 years? Because
Well-
I don't feel like it's been that damn far.
Let's face it, we have broken into government because we do have female senators and congresspeople and even a vice president who's female.
That's right.
So we have broken in. We've got a long ways to go, but we've broken into it. I love this one because it says we've taken control of our reproductive rights. And I said, and we lost them too. You know?
Yeah, they haven't updated that yet.
Yeah,
They haven't
It's been
updated
a while
that.
since that
Yeah.
was it. And who do we have here?
Oh, this is Caramel. She's a
Hi,
crone.
Karen.
She's a
Hi.
crone, so
She's a
she's
crone.
allowed. Yes, she's 10.
Ours is right outside the baby gate.
Oh,
Because the
okay.
last time she was in here, she knocked down one of the lights. And
Oh no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were saying we've made it into the workplace because in the 1900s, the only thing a female could be was a domestic servant, teacher, nurse, or dressmaker.
Yeah.
What about the dance hall girls?
Oh
They
yeah,
didn't
but they were
name
fallen
them.
women. They were fallen
They were
women.
definitely.
But now we have female doctors.
Yep.
And yes, everybody works their tail ends off in order to
Astronauts.
get into the programs.
Mhm.
And they said we took control of our relationships. Well, in a way, we have. We're
Okay.
no longer totally subservient to husbands or anybody else. So we have taken
I'm not
control of
sure I
ours.
ever was.
There you go.
I would-
And they said we've taken the charts by storm. By charts, they mean musical charts, like
Oh,
we have
yeah.
Adele and Beyonce and Mariah and Madonna.
Thank you, White Dragon.
Yes,
I
thank
didn't know
you.
you were an engineer. What
And
kind
they
of
were
engineer
and they
are you?
worked very hard to get there. I'll bet.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They said that we as females have gone to infinity and beyond. I don't know who wrote this. We have a long ways to go yet.
We do. We have made some progress, though.
Mhm.
I agree
Yes.
with that, but we have a lot more to progress.
We
I
have a lot
remember
more that we can do.
so at that bank, which they did hire me, there was a
Uh-huh.
male that was my assistant manager. They would not give me the job because he needed it more because he was the breadwinner.
Yeah,
he was the breadwinner.
I got
He
that
was
a
the
lot.
breadwinner.
Yeah.
But I had to train him how to do his job.
Yeah, of course you
Right.
did.
Yeah.
Of course you did.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
It still
Yeah,
does.
It
It
did.
still
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
But okay, go ahead.
But they have found that there is power in, quote, the packs. In other words, we are beginning to communicate to each other and get each other's help, and we support each other, like your
Mhm.
first picture.
Mhm.
Oh, I love this first picture.
Uh-huh.
I don't know about these young ladies that are in our audience, but when I was growing up, women were pitted, girls were pitted against each other to catch the man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what it was all about. Being a debutante, doing all of that, being presented to society, which I refused to do. But that was the point, was you're going to go to college, you're going to marry a rich guy, you want a doctor from the same social circles, blah, 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 blah.
And everybody else has got to be behind you, so you have to be better than everybody else in order to get the one you want. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's. I
You
don't
guys, have you seen this photograph? I just pulled this off of Facebook. But
It's so
the joy and the support from Jamie just blew my mind. It just brought tears to my eyes to see the kind of support that Michelle got. And I love Michelle. I think she's been rocking it for many, many years in the acting business. I think she's phenomenal.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned, because I heard she was 60 years old, and this is her. And Jennifer, Jennifer, that was in the White Lotus. You know who I'm
yes, I
talking
can't remember her last name. Yes.
I can't remember her last name right at this
Tell us
moment.
what
But
her last name is in the chat, please.
yeah.
I see her
it's not,
a lot.
It's not Connolly. It's something else. But anyway, she's in her 60s, and she just finally got her name out there, pretty much. You know, she'd been around a while, but no notoriety.
Right.
Yep.
And she's doing so well in her middle age, or upper middle age,
and
whatever you want to call it.
It was kind of nice to see somebody actually stand up for another woman.
For somebody else.
Absolutely, it was. I love
Weren't they vying for the same
I believe
award?
so.
I
I'm
think
not,
so.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I thought
positive,
so.
but I believe so. So instead of pouting that she lost, she was up there going right on.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty bloody cool.
It is. Yeah.
I can't read the chat.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh, White Dragon's talking about doing every kind of math available. Yeah.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Because
Oh, hi,
because
Viviane and Hypnicity. How is everybody?
hi,
I hope
Sherry.
everybody's good. This is Sunday, right?
It is Sunday.
They have so many other ways, and they'll go through how we support. But one of them is to raise your voice.
Yeah.
Make sure you're heard.
Yep.
Yep.
And yet, when Hillary did that, I'm not a big Hillary fan, but
No,
when
I
she
wasn't
did that,
either, but I didn't
when
like
she
it.
did that though, she got criticized. Whereas when men do that,
It was fine.
it was okay. Yeah.
And yet the main reason, now these were, this article was written mostly about Indian women.
Okay.
And this one Indian woman said she didn't want her daughter to go through the things that she had to go through in order to get married. So she raised her voice in protest to what it was so that her daughter would not go through it.
Thank
So
you.
she raised her voice and said,
Good
no,
for her.
that's not right.
And
she supported
we need
other
to raise
women.
our boys. We need to raise our boys that same way.
It's very important that how mothers raise their sons.
Right.
I have seen women with young men or boys raising boys, and I'm thinking, you've just raised a nightmare. What are you doing?
And my
you don't want that
mother-in-law,
treatment to yourself. You've just created this little monster for somebody else's wife.
my
Yeah,
mother-in-law took the credit. My first husband, he would walk in the door and start stripping and just leave clothes all over the place until he got into the shower and got changed because he was a farmer. And she said, I'm sorry. I taught him that was okay. I didn't make him clean up everything as he went along. It's my fault, and I apologize.
Wow, that's
She
big.
realized it
Yeah.
late, but she realized what she had done. And she says, we've got to make sure you don't do that with other kids.
My first mother-in-law told me, you don't want to marry him. She was right.
She was right.
She was right.
Oh, that's
We
funny.
didn't have much fun there.
And they're beginning to, I've got to say, guys are stepping up to the plate when we say you need to help share with the load that we've got. We're both working and we both have to work at home.
That's right.
So
That's
the
right.
guys are stepping up and doing what
They are.
is being asked.
This generation of men, I'll see a lot of them out walking their kids, little babies.
Yeah, and taking care of their kids. My
Mhm.
husband would take my daughter when she was an infant, and he would take her and the extra diapers, and if she needed to be changed, he'd walk over to somebody to change this kid. He never did it. He handed her to somebody.
Jennifer Coolidge. That's who we were
Jennifer
talking
Coolidge.
about.
Thanks, Viviane. Yeah.
I've loved her ever since the
American Pie. Did you see her in
I
that?
remember in that. No, the one with at the lawyer. The lawyer.
Oh.
She was a hairdresser.
Oh,
Reese Witherspoon.
Legally Blonde.
Oh.
That's the
Legally
first time I
Blonde.
ever saw her.
Yeah.
I thought she was hilarious.
Yeah.
She's
But
very
I've got to say, I am proud of my son. He took as much on with their kids as any father I've seen. I mean,
Good.
And my son-in-law.
You did good, Mom.
My
Yeah.
son-in-law is
they-
like that too.
You know, they're coming in and stepping up. They're getting involved.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And women are getting involved in politics and running in things, and they never would have before. They would have sat back and said, "You need to run." No, now they're doing it.
Yep.
So that's
Well,
a good
I think that has a lot to do with the Me Too movement, and
Right.
It does. Speaking up. Yeah.
Speaking their truth. The women in Hollywood, they took down those major men,
and they're beginning
predators.
to exert their rights,
Mhm.
which they never did before. So and it was so funny when I was in Kansas. You would go to the dance and the guys would be all over here talking about things and the women would be over here talking about homey things. I was never with them. I wanted to go talk with the guys.
I was the same way. I also asked men out, like boys out. Would you like to go out with me? I would. And people would say, "Oh, that's not smart," but I did it all the time.
Oh, that was the smart thing. You didn't have to wait anybody. You decided.
I didn't like the women's conversation. It was always about makeup and babies and
I don't
weird stuff.
I
wasn't
didn't
ready
care
for
about how
yet.
dirty somebody's home was or what they did to clean something.
Yeah, it's like this. You remember, pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, beep, beep, beep. Remember that from the Music Man. The Music Man, I know.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's fun.
you guys had, you picked up a lot of stuff too.
I picked up some information on how to empower other women.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask the chat room, how do you guys empower each other? Other
Yeah.
women. I mean, I know from the chat how empowering you guys can be. We
Because
all know
you're
that.
encouraging everybody. And what I love is that it doesn't matter whether they're male or female.
Right.
You encourage everybody. And I really appreciate that.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to.
We're all in this together.
Well,
Yes.
the interesting thing was, and I'm not sure I can read this, but I was channeling, after we talked about this, I channeled some information, and it was basically about the oneness of us all, and that it was time for us to recognize that and realize that we're also living life, experiencing lifetimes in different realities at the same time.
Absolutely.
This is one of many experiences you are having simultaneously. Remember, love is the answer to every question, to the healing of all things. Woo, chills.
I know. I resonate with that very deeply, and I also believe that we need to nourish the two sides of us that we are, our male and female sides, because it's okay for men to cry, it's okay for girls to be assertive, it's okay for us to integrate those qualities.
Warrior Girl has some neat things to say.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. Go to mom if they're ever lost.
No.
Oh, you were going to
remember that. You always had to go together.
I know, and I never did.
I don't remember one way or the
They're
other.
in there yakking and talking about makeup, and this is not for me.
I know.
Yeah.
The thing is that we don't realize it, but there are some things that happen in our lives that we're ahead of the curve. And so we're considered the weird ones.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's very true. That's
Absolutely.
very true.
We have to be proud of being weird.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
My sister and I were both tomboys too, Warrior Girl.
Pace setters.
Yeah.
Pace setters.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And I loved what you wrote about women empowering. More women have college degrees now.
Yep.
Than men.
Yes.
So,
well,
and I
some
think
of the ways. Go ahead.
Oh, I just was saying, I think there are also a lot of women that are doctors, lawyers, more so than there ever was.
There
ever has been. And more people women in politics now.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Because we need to reverse all this nonsense that's been going on.
Yeah.
Bring it back to reality.
Yeah.
And they're beginning to listen to us. So on important issues, they do have a say, and they are influencing it. So
I agree.
That's cool. So we have made a lot of progress in the last 100 years. We just have more to go.
We do. And we've had to step back into some of the things that we had done because the powers that be are trying to shut us down because they don't want us to be as powerful as we
like
are.
our rights sexually.
Yeah, they don't want us to be powerful. They want to keep us split.
Yeah.
And in the home.
I was reading something, and it
chance.
was in England, I think, where everybody just loved the pill, and then they made it illegal to have it, to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they didn't have the pill anymore.
What, in Ireland?
No, England.
Oh, wow.
I'm going, wow.
That's crazy.
Well, I think that do you know that if you killed somebody, if you were a woman and you had PMS and you killed somebody, they used that as a defense in England. And somebody was let go because of that. That was a while ago, though. So, yeah.
I don't know what it's like there anymore. I knew a little bit when I lived there, but I've been gone a while. A long time.
Yeah, I get it. No, I get
it. And this
Yeah.
country's changed so much in the last 10 years.
And the hypnicity was saying, well, look at what they did to witches.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And we would all be there right
careful.
now. We would all be there right now.
Right. Yes, we would.
For sure.
We're one of those people. I know.
We would definitely be hiding our gifts.
So what we have to be proud of too is that, and in being a crone, and we're at the age where we don't give a bleep what people think about us, that we want to be true to ourselves and speak our own truth.
That's right.
That why does it have to take so long? And so I'd love to see
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
My mom
Why do
used
we have to be so damn old to finally figure it out, how to speak our truth?
My mom was just getting to where she was doing that, and then she got dementia, so it was a little bit more difficult for her.
Oh.
But she began to start saying what she wanted to say.
Yep.
Because she was old enough that they didn't like it.
Didn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the youngsters get that message long before I did.
Yeah.
And I think they have in a lot of ways.
I agree. I will say to that, if somebody says something very wise, even in my college classes, and they're only 20, 22 years old, I'll always say, thank you. I applaud you because it took me until I was blank to learn that, 40 or 50 or whatever it was. Yeah.
I have a feeling we all have been, like Warrior Girl said, she was burned at the stake and hung different lifetimes. And I'm saying, I have a feeling we all have.
I'm sure that's true. I have no doubt that that's true. It's I have another slide to put up.
Yeah. And
ways to help other women, to empower other women.
Right.
I thought these were pretty interesting.
I absolutely.
And like you say, you identified their contribution in your class.
Absolutely.
Whenever they do that, it's wonderful.
Or even just saying, it doesn't even have to be a contribution. You're such a kind person. You're such you're so intelligent. You're so compassionate. You're so loving. We just need to hear those things, because usually all we get is, oh, she's a bitch, or she's this, or she's that. And we need to find those opportunities to tell women that we love them and we're proud of them and we're happy for them.
I actually try to do that every bloody day.
And one of the hardest things to do is to provide the feedback on their work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because people just don't. As long as you're doing okay, they don't bother.
Yeah,
with you.
They don't say anything. It's when you're doing it wrong.
That's when they tell you. But then
instead of when
if they flip it, it would work better.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And I remember much training in companies that I worked at where they tried to tell people that, but they would still fall back into the old ways.
Right. Oh, and I got to tell you, in the education world, trying to explain to a coach why positive reinforcement is better than their punitive things, if they want things to last long. How do you make them do it forever? It's positive reinforcement. No, they have to do so many sit-ups or push-ups if they don't do it right. And there's
any dog trainer will tell you don't use discipline on a dog. You use encouragement.
Exactly. But coaches, my experience with coaches has not been the most peaceful.
Yeah. I mean, all you had to do was to watch the two shows. There was a guy named Bob and there was a Jillian, and it was real heavy, fat people. And the guy was firm, but he was kind. And Jillian was horrible as far as I was.
Jillian was after you all the time.
All the time. On your butt.
Oh, you're talking about that weight show. I never saw.
And he only quit after he had a heart attack and decided that really wasn't his bag.
It wasn't his deal.
To live.
Yeah. But it was her that I couldn't believe why, she's just so mean. I didn't feel I didn't know if she was trying to make up for it.
I don't want to be mean. I don't want anybody to be mean to me.
No, no.
I don't be mean.
You don't need to be mean not to be a pushover.
Right. That's true. That's
true.
Yeah.
So,
it's all about observing other people's behavior and observing it, not reacting to it. It's like anything else that you're not happy with, it triggers you. You just have to learn to look at it.
And
from a different perspective.
Offer unconditional love to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We are encouraging them to step up
into their own power. That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And equalize everything.
Definitely.
You're right, Cherie.
Hypnicity asked what flex factor was. It has to do with outreach, recruitment, and STEM education programs to familiarize girls or young ladies that they can go into those kinds of jobs.
Where did I don't see that.
She had asked about it. It was on that chart you had up. For,
Oh, right.
And she said,
Oh,
what is flex
yeah.
factor? So that's
Okay.
that's.
Sorry about that.
But you can go back to it.
Do you want me to go back to it?
I can't hear you
Let's
guys
see.
now.
You can't hear us?
Okay, where was it that you were talking about?
I can't hear you.
Can you guys hear us? Can the
I
chat
bet
room
they
hear us?
can.
Yes,
Ladies,
you're
I
right.
got to go out and come back in. I can't hear
worries.
anything.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be back.
Yep.
Okay, good.
I'm going to take that off. She'll be back in a moment. Okay. I don't know what that flex factor was either. I'd never heard of that. I've been retired too long. I guess.
Flex factor.
That was
Oh,
on that
thank
chart.
you, Indigo. I'm glad you can hear us.
Okay, great. Yeah, I could hear her too, but she couldn't hear us.
Yeah. It is funny though. You're right. You've been talking about, Sheree has been talking about tarot cards and how that's frowned on.
Even
And
your granddaughter asked me if we told fortunes. I was like, no. When she
did
was
she?
here, yeah.
Did she?
She was asking me about the
About the
cards
cards?
over there and asked if we told fortunes. And I was like, no.
Not really.
No.
That's okay, because I know that
You're absolutely right, Indigo.
being on the TV together, talking about the things that we're talking about, sometimes because they're in a very churchy area, Kansas is very churchy, and it's almost taboo, working with the devil type things. But when they're here visiting,
We could
they
all
don't see
hear
it.
you.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you. I'm
Okay.
sorry about that.
No
Good.
worries.
Okay.
Really?
That's crazy, warrior girl. I can understand why. I do not like turtlenecks either. I wonder if that's a reason. It would make sense.
It does. It does.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Do you remember those? How about those slave bracelets? Remember those?
Oh,
one.
my mom would get those for the sweaters, to hold.
What is
Yeah.
a slave bracelet?
It's like you had a ring that had a line, and then it was like
and then down to
bracelet, then a bracelet. Yeah, that was the thing back in the
I thought they were
70s.
cool, but I never did have one.
No, I never had one either.
Yeah, I can understand you're not wanting anything around your neck.
No kidding.
No. Although they didn't bother me. I just actually, thankfully, they didn't bother me.
And Heather had it too. Okay, Heather, Indigo Jaguar had it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes. No, thank you. I don't want to know. I'm doing a past life on Wednesday. I hope I'm not a witch. I hope I don't come up. I'm doing it with the QHHT person that lives in the Keys. Sarah Breskman Cosme. Do you know who she is?
No, I don't, but I've had a QHHT before, and it's so much fun.
Oh, I'm so excited. And then hers is next month.
Yeah, it's funny because mine was very early in February. Well, the surgery is very late, and I probably would have had to change it anyway, but she had to change it. I'm going, okay.
Yeah, kind of divine timing worked out just perfectly.
So
actually.
I should be up and running by the time she's ready to do it.
She's ready for you.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy.
So that's good. That's good. I think it's going to be interesting.
Let's see. Do we have anything else we want to talk about with women?
Well,
I remember those ring bracelets for your feet. Where you had one on the big toe.
Right. And then you had, right.
Actually, I think it was on each toe.
No, I was going to go over what you said. There are almost twice as many female entrepreneurs in America today than there were 20 years ago.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So we're coming along.
Well,
we are leading the way.
Say though,
we are
that
making a difference.
There's more opportunity for people to get grants and things for women than there ever used to be as well.
Right. And it doesn't matter whether it's politics, science, or business, they are beginning to lead the way in spite of themselves.
Once it adds up.
Yeah.
We got it. It just needs to add up. And I hope it happens in our lifetime.
Absolutely. So
And there's more female college teachers where it used to be only men.
Like you, Miss Aley.
Mhm.
That's right.
Right. But there are
You know-
more females now. But you still have to argue for your pay. And you have to argue much harder than a man does.
And I've never been able to get a full-time position because of whatever. So I've had to cobble together all my classes and work for like 3 to 4 different colleges in order to get enough classes to make enough money. So, you know,
Is that to keep you from tenure? Is that what,
I have no tenure.
That's part of
Yeah.
it.
But I mean, is
Yes.
that what they try to do to keep you from earning tenure?
Yes, and they don't want to load up. They want you to be a person that does all kinds of research and writes books and all these other things. And I just want to teach.
Mhm.
Right.
What do you
All I
teach?
want to teach. Humanities and English.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. You had a ring one. And it was a slave bracelet then. I
Yeah.
never knew what it was.
I
They did.
remember
I just
had
thought they
called
were kind of neat.
Yeah.
And of course, female athletes are breaking records all the time.
True enough.
And I remember when it was Billie Jean and the male tennis player, and they played against each other. And in our own family,
Uh-huh.
my mother and I were rooting for Billie Jean, and then all the guys and my 2 brothers and my dad were rooting for the guy. You know, we were very happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was happy. I was very happy.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's surprising how that sometimes happens. So there's so much more going on now than there used to be.
So we were talking backstage about using your sexuality, I guess is the best way to explain it.
Right.
Where back in the day, women had the Playboy bunny outfit, you know, and they were in the Playboy clubs. And I guess we have a Hooters now that is pretty much like that.
I was going to say
Yeah.
Hooters. But in the Pacific Northwest, we have either bikini or lingerie baristas. And
that's a new one on me.
I hadn't heard
the
of that.
line, and it's all men, of course, that go there every day. But I remember pulling into one to get a coffee and realizing that it was a woman in a lingerie, and I just kind of pretended like it didn't matter to me. But it's interesting that they're asking for a balance. They're asking to be not treated as sexual beings, but they
Dress
money.
that way.
Yeah.
Well, even as a female, you had those companies that would discriminate against the females. If you look at the Rockettes, they all had to be a certain height.
Oh, yeah.
They all
certain
had to
weight,
have a certain weight. They all had to be a certain size before they could even be considered to be a Rockette.
And the stewardesses as well. You couldn't weigh a lot.
I remember.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it applies to the
stewardesses,
guys too. For stewards, they all have to be within certain limits now too. So, but I think
What was it I heard the other day in the news about one of the states that made a clothing rule where the women could not show their arms? I mean, really?
Missouri.
You're going to, my arm's going to give you a hard on? Are you kidding me?
No,
You shouldn't be there.
It's Arkansas or Missouri, one of those. It was with that silly woman who used to work for Trump.
Right.
Oh, what's her name? Anyway, yeah, you have to wear a jacket. You can't have bare arms.
Straight out of the 1950s.
Right. Yeah.
That's insane.
Well, it's like when they're saying, okay, you can't have an abortion, and if you're raped, you can't have it, and you're the one that has to pay the penalty price for it, not the guy.
Not the guy.
This is it just doesn't.
Please don't go there. You don't want me to get started on this.
No. Okay, we're not going there.
It won't be
But we
pretty.
are making it.
No, it won't be pretty. Yeah.
But how do you feel about women that get jobs where it's all tits and ass? To me, if that's the only you feel that's the only way you can make a living, high on. Who am I to judge you for whatever?
No, I know. I don't want to judge them either. No, I
The
don't.
same thing with, but then again, do you really want men looking at you like that? I mean, is that really
I'd hate to see
how
my
you
daughter
empower
doing that.
yourself.
Think of it that way. Would you like your daughter to do that?
No, I don't
No.
think of it as being an empowering position.
No,
And
it's
I
not.
don't want to see men or women in positions that are not empowering.
Right, right.
I don't care whether you're a janitor or a stripper.
Oh,
Right.
I really don't.
Yeah, I agree.
Wonder Girl was saying that Hooters got sued in New York, and there aren't any of them here.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was interesting.
That's kind of how I feel about it. And yet I also don't want to judge them about it either, because
Everybody's
we've
on a
all
different
been
path.
everything to
Mhm.
everybody already anyway. We've
Oh,
all
yeah.
been there. Whether we remember it or not, we've all been there.
And Sherry was saying that we're moving backwards. But I think that's only going to go for so long, and then all of a sudden they're going to say enough's enough,
Let's hope.
and it's
Yeah.
going to go back forward again.
Okay, I missed that.
Yep.
Oh yes, there you are.
Yeah, we're moving backwards as far as our
I have a
basic
TV.
rights.
You would think I'd be able to see the damn chat room. There's a TV like 8 feet from me, 6 feet from me,
and
55 inches, and I can't read the chat.
and I'm using my iPad to read.
I'm pretty close to where I sit, so I'm
Yeah,
okay.
so you can
Right
see it,
now,
yes.
anyway. Yeah.
I think our rights will come back in as the next
I
5
hope so.
years, and on steroids. That's what I think.
Ooh.
I think our rights will come back on steroids. The more women, the more young people we get in our government, the better off we're all going to be.
Well, unless they're like George Santos, I suppose. But yeah, I agree.
I can't believe anything he says.
What did I hear?
Yeah.
Oh, did you, Cash Peters? Did you hear what he had to say about George Santos? Was it Cash Peters or was it?
Cash Peters is the one,
Uh.
or was it
Linda?
the psychic? What's his face?
Sterling.
Sterling.
I think it was
I
actually
think it was
Sterling?
I think it was Sterling.
Saying
Said that foreign governments were paying Santos
Yeah.
for information.
Wouldn't surprise me.
That's
Yeah.
what he was all about. Was yikes.
Well, he's from Brazil, where Bolsonaro was, or was the president, and so yeah, it's very what bothers me too is that I don't care if he's a drag queen, and nobody else should either.
That doesn't bother me one bit.
But he won't admit to it. That's what I don't like.
That's the lie is what bothers me.
Right.
It's not the fact that he was. I could care less. I love drag shows. We go to drag shows all the time here.
Yeah,
If
they're
you're going to
great.
be something or do something, be proud of it.
Be proud of what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we all have things we're not proud of, and I guess he's not very proud of that. But
Yeah. Okay.
we're
all.
That's why his mother died at 9/11. Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes up all the things like that he was on a soccer team and this and that. But anyway, never mind him. But you don't want people of that
caliber.
That caliber.
No. And there were quite a few. Well, we need to get off that part.
I believe you. Like I said, we will go so far, and that will be it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We've got some strong women in there.
I just worry about the people in the meantime. So the
I know.
In the meantime that are being prosecuted for ridiculous things. But anyway, so boy, I think we've killed that one.
Yeah.
What time are we?
But let's face it, women have gone and done many more things than they used to. And it is nice to see people like Jamie Lee Curtis yelling
absolutely
support for their competitors.
That was so cool. It just made me so happy when I saw it.
It makes me happy. But a lot of people have said, why did it take so long? And the key is that
misogyny.
Well, yes, but there's also, anytime you want a paradigm to shift, it has to reach a certain plateau.
Absolutely.
And then it tips over. And it took that much probably for that to say, hey, I'm happy for you. You got this going on. Good for you, girl. You go. And really, it was the most empowering thing. I don't even think she planned on doing what she did when
I'm sure she didn't. I think it was probably spontaneous.
And the energy
that was the beauty.
Which makes it even better.
Yeah, and the energy is so catching as to be yes.
Yeah, the energy in that photo was just like in your face. The excitement for Jamie Lee. I mean that was everything. I thought it was fantastic. I think part of this, the change is, I'm going to say Pluto. Pluto uncovering so much in the last few years in Capricorn. I think it was in Capricorn. It has been revealing so much to us that I think the Me Too movement, all of that it was just a catalyst to get us where we need to go.
That's right.
And it's like you say, you've got to get that tipping point.
And
Just like with Starseeds tipping point, we're getting there. We're all headed to enlightenment. We're all moving in the right direction. Look how many people are in this community that are working towards their ascension.
Which is really just enlightenment. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
And we're all doing it together, and we're all going to get there together.
And we're all urging each other to be successful.
To get to that tipping point. And I don't think we're that far away.
No,
so I do want to bring something up about Jamie Lee Curtis while we got her on the brain. Hypnosis said aging gracefully is a huge plus. And Jamie Lee Curtis has come out and said she has never had plastic surgery. She just is who she is. And I even think she had a picture of herself like in underwear and a bra at some point.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I just want to say that, that's a huge thing as well. We don't have to look 30 if we're not 30,
That's right. I don't want to look 30. I don't want to be 30.
It's like when I was getting my hair cut, I was sitting in front of a window that you could see so much sun coming in, and I'm looking at my hair and I was, oh my God, I didn't know I had so much gray in it. Wow, how'd that happen? He says, well, if you don't like it, we can take some of it out. I says, no, I don't care.
I earned all of those.
I had that much.
I earned those at gray hairs. That's right.
It was just a surprise to me. And I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm very proud of them. I've earned every one of those.
Every single one of them. You're right.
I'm going to keep those.
Wow. Oh.
Wow. I don't doubt it, though, that mentality.
Yeah.
I remember a woman, I was at a truck stop getting gas one time. This was a while ago. And this truck pulled in and door opens up and this woman jumps out from the driver's side and she's 4'11". She couldn't be more than 90 pounds. And I thought, you go, sister, honest to God. And I think I told her that because I am not afraid to say whatever to anybody if it's a nice thing, I mean, I'm not telling them, but I'm like, good for you.
I've started making a habit of it when I see somebody out in public. If they have great hair or whatever it is.
Or a nice shirt or something.
I tell them, and it just, and you know what, it puts a smile on my face as well as theirs. So
it does.
And that's easy. And she's the one that got me to say hello to people. When we would walk the dog, I'm like, why are you saying hello to everybody? And they're not paying any attention to us. And she's like,
sometimes it's the only nice thing they have said to them. And I did that with all my students. If I saw them,
if we see them, they say hi because of her. And she got me doing it. So I just take it a step further when I'm out in public.
That's okay.
Yeah. You'd be amazed how many men walk up to me.
I do it with men and women. I will.
Oh, yeah. I don't care. Either sex is fine.
No, I saw this guy. This guy was picking up beer and pizza, I think, one day. And I looked at him and I said, well, don't forget the chip and dip. And of course, he looked at me like, how do you know me? And I just thought it was great. Because it's like, okay, like, whatever.
Weird woman.
That's me. Susie, thank you for that. I didn't know she had plastic surgery and Botox before she came out against it. But, live and learn. Yeah.
I loved your little Wonder Woman doll. She's adorable.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to get my daughter one.
And you're right, Viola, you're right. If you do smile, everybody smiles back.
Smile back.
They can't help it.
They can't.
And for a minute, they're in a better place.
Yeah. Even if it's 10 seconds, they're in a better place, and so are you. When you smile and somebody else smiles right back at you, it's just so catching.
It
just makes you feel good.
It's kind of like paying it forward.
Definitely is. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Grandson's girlfriend used to get a lot of Botox
on her lips.
Really?
lips
Oh,
and
wow.
everything. She was in her 20s and she was gorgeous. She didn't need one bit of it.
It was like watching her. Watching her was like watching 9 to 5 with
Oh,
the gal
Dolly
that-
Parton. Yeah.
yeah, but one of the girls was Botoxing her lips all the time, and they were just blown up. And that's what it looked like on her. They were just blown up. I was like, oh my
Thank God
God.
she got over it because she's a gorgeous girl.
Yes,
and
she
didn't
is.
need one bit of that.
Mm-mm.
I think all these young people that are doing that, what's going to happen in 50 years? Are they going to have lead in their faces?
Yeah.
And
I'm wondering
I
about
don't know what it does to you long term.
I wonder about the butt implants, because for me, when we were growing up, you didn't want to have a big butt. I
No.
was always, yeah.
Still don't.
I still don't want it, but I do. Now they're
No,
good
me
doing
either.
implants. You can have some of mine.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I'd
really.
like to donate.
We'll
I'd like to
donate.
donate. I think Stevie Nicks looks great. And have you seen the new album that Dolly's doing with Stevie Nicks, Brandy Carlisle? You guys help me. She's doing a rock and roll album.
Is she?
Yes, and
Oh,
with
that's
her
awesome.
goddaughter, what's her name? Miley Cyrus is on it.
Okay.
A couple of guys. Help me out there in Chatland. I can't remember who else on it.
Wow.
I've never bought a Dolly Parton album in my life, but I'm going to buy this one.
Yeah, well, you didn't like her until you went to see her too, either, and then you decided I've got respect for
I
this
don't
lady.
care for country music. It's no surprise to anybody that knows me.
Me either. I don't either. But I did like Islands in the Stream, which I didn't consider to be a country
Me
song.
neither.
Yeah.
My sister lived, and her husband lived in Nashville, and
Oh.
they invited me up. I went to visit to visit Nashville. I'd never been, and they took me to the Grand Ole Opry, the old one, the
Yep.
original. And Dolly Parton was singing that
Oh.
night, and they told me we're going to the Grand Ole Opry, and I'm like, oh geez,
I
I'm a rock and roller. I don't want to go to the you know.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, I fell in love with that woman. I couldn't believe how tiny she was, how big her voice was. I was so impressed. I've been a fan ever since. I still don't listen to her music, but I love her. I love who
I know.
she
She's
is.
fun. She is. Yeah. You're right.
She's a toot. And I think this rock album is going to be a gas. It's an amazing number of people. Oh, Pink and Paul McCartney.
Ooh.
Mhm.
Wow.
Jolene is my least favorite song of hers. It just,
Uh-huh.
She is very generous, and she has done some things that companies don't care for because she offers the same product at less money.
Uh-huh.
But she says, why should that be just for the rich people who can afford that?
Right. Right.
oh, she's a wonderful human being.
Yeah, she just does wonderful things.
Pretty amazing.
Yep.
And I
Wow.
love her sense of humor. I used to, believe it or not, I used to watch her when it was Dolly Parton and
Porter Wagner.
Porter Wagner show.
Oh
Anyway,
my.
you're on.
That was a while ago.
Yes, I was a kid. But still, it was something that you remembered seeing because
Sure, of course. Yeah.
that's not
Like-
something you saw very much in New York City,
That's very true.
But
That's
they
very-
were there.
Yeah.
New country, yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I have to admit, I do like Patsy Cline,
I do sing Patsy Cline too.
but I promise you, I won't sing at karaoke because you don't want me to.
I remember when I was first married, it was kind of like the country was in the process of carrying over into the rock, and the rock was carrying over into the country. So you never knew when you were in Kansas, which is where I lived, what you were really getting, but you had crossover music all the time. And that was kind of fun.
Yeah. I don't remember growing up with anything. And then whenever we were watching anything like, that grandpa guy that used to be on we would always
I
change.
remember
the
that.
channel.
Hee-haw.
Yeah. Hee-haw. That's right.
Hee-haw.
I always
Yeah.
changed the channel.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't grow up with that kind of music at all. I grew up with classical music. Both of my
okay.
parents were musicians, so it's classical.
Oh.
Her mother was a
Opera singer,
opera singer, and her father was a
concert organist.
concert organist.
He did world tours.
That's That's
Warrior
awesome.
girl, I want to come party at your house.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go. Invite all your friends and used to be friends.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dolly is really a heroine. She
And when
really
you
is.
think about it, she is one of the women that has paved the way for other
For other
women.
women. She
She
gives
has.
back all the time. I mean,
Yep.
education-wise.
She took over the charts. She was one of the ones, we talk about Adele, but when you think about it, Dolly took over charts too.
She did.
Absolutely, she did.
Yep.
So
And she crossed over into like you say, into the TV, no, the movie world very
Right.
well.
World.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she still did well. But she's always been for women's rights. Even in the 9 to 5 show, she was with women's rights, changing their schedules to meet what the women could do.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, she's always been a backer
Mhm.
one way or another.
Right.
And
So we
here's one
need to
that
be more
really-
like Dolly Parton. That's
Let's
the
be
Yeah.
more like Dolly Parton
Exactly.
or Serena Williams. Oh
or
my God,
Serena
what a
Williams.
champion.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yay, Serena! Thank you very much, ma'am.
I remember going to horse shows, and we called ourselves the barn rats because we all came from the same stables. And we were always at each other's classes. If we weren't in the class with them, we were at the edges of it and cheering whoever we had on.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. So it was always great.
The horse world I was in was not like that. It was not pretty.
That's very true. I think it's really important also to mention that we have women astronauts now. We have women who are,
Right.
They never thought that would be possible because women had their time of the month and all that other junk, that was holding them back. And that's always been held against us, that we're too hormonal, and you get tired of hearing about that as well.
That's
So,
bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. They're just as hormonal.
Yeah. They have a different
everybody's hormonal. That's what we are. We're
talked
human.
about our hormones, and then in Kansas, it was so funny because we'd watch the farmers and the other guys that are around, and theirs was like every 6 weeks. You could tell they were going through something because they were a pain in the butt. These guys that we knew, our husbands or some of the others, you could tell when it was time that they were going through something.
Yeah,
I
agree. I agree. Maybe
Okay,
low
this
T
is not
or
the
something.
time to ask him about that.
Yeah, I understand. Oh, that's funny.
That's funny.
So we decided they had their times too.
They do. They definitely do. There's a wonderful ancient play that's out there. We've been always trying to empower ourselves, and there's a wonderful play that is what is the name? Now I can't even remember the name of it, where the women withhold sex because the men are going off to war, and so the men come back and they have these very big, what play I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, Weapons of Mass Destruction. That's great. That's great.
You guys are killing me.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's great.
that was good.
She loves it. She talks about, I know I look like a floozy. I have a blast dressing like this. Good for you.
Yeah.
You go, girl.
And she did have surgeries. Well, she had to because she was so big. They had to.
She had breast reduction.
Right, because it was killing her back.
Waist is like
I can imagine.
Big. Her waist is.
When I saw her in Nashville, it was like that. She was in a blue pinstripe outfit, pantsuit, and you could see she was skinny, except for these enormous breasts and an enormous voice, because that voice was just rocked that whole tabernacle.
Yeah, you're right. She's full of moxie. She's a strong woman.
Mm-hmm. Let's be more like Dolly. Let's all be more like Dolly.
Let's do it.
I think that would be a good thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, ladies, we're getting close to 4 o'clock, aren't we? Do you
Yeah.
all want to do some cards at all? Are you good with a card for the collective?
We can do
For
a
the
card
women in the
For the
group?
women, yeah, for
The
women's rights in
women's
the
rights.
collective.
Yeah. Why don't we do a reading and see how?
The women's rights come up.
Yeah, let's see how women's rights are going to come up. Like 3 cards for women's rights. I don't mean people readings, you guys. I'm sorry.
It's just for the collective, just one.
Yeah. Misty's dad says nice lungs. Yeah, I heard that a lot.
And big hair, yes. Well, that was the style.
Yeah.
And she had to have something to offset her.
She did.
Yeah. Do you not have any cards, baby? I'm sorry I didn't warn you.
No, I have a whole bunch of them right here behind me.
I thought I saw a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah. For the
Okay,
Super
big
Women
card.
Collective. There you
Got
go.
it.
Yeah, 3 cards for the collective. Let's see what's going to happen
For our women's rights.
for women's rights.
So we're each pulling 1 or we're each pulling 3?
3.
I'm pulling 3.
Each
Okay.
3.
Each 3.
I'm not going to pull one. I'm going to.
She's going to let us do it.
Okay.
Well, I only have my crystal cards here, so I guess I could pull a crystal card and see what happens. But
That's cool. Let's see. What's this one say?
I love
bye,
this.
Viola. Thank you for being here, love.
Yeah.
Go shine your light, big girl.
Oh, wow.
I got the female archangels here.
Cool.
And
Great deck.
so they were pretty
And
good.
I have the fairy
Fairy
tarot
man.
deck.
Fairy tarot.
Okay.
And you want to go first and then I'll go?
Sure. The
Okay.
first one I got is what we've really been talking about, of
Mhm.
course, which is to open up your heart. This is
Oh, I love
Archangel. It's virtue, and look at that. It's opening your heart. Open your heart for yourself. Know that you are empowered always, and to also empower other women or other men, your children, whoever you empower. All of it is for the collective, but definitely empower your sisters. Your sisters need it. And then we have Michael here that says to step into the empowerment. I love it.
Great.
So if you need help, Michael's always there for you. And Michael is willing and able to help all of us. If we all asked Michael to help us, we would all be empowered. But this is the funniest one, ladies. Bring in music.
All right. I love it.
We
Let's
can
be
channel our Dolly, right? We'll channel our Dolly.
Channeling Dolly.
That's
I love
right.
it.
That's right.
I love it.
Awesome.
Well,
Yep.
I have the Queen of Winter,
Mm.
and it's saying, let go of those people who aren't helping you out, those that you don't need. Well, that's true of all the women. If they're not working with somebody who's going to value you
Mhm.
as a person, you need to let them go.
Absolutely.
And then the
Absolutely.
second card was the Princess of Autumn, and it said that when you have well thought out plans, everything goes the way you want it to. So
Mhm.
those go really well towards
Yes.
our things. And then we have Seven of Springs. Be assertive. Don't back down from your beliefs. So if you've got you're getting rid of those that are not in your side. You've got a well-oiled plan for what to do, and you're sticking with it. And that's the feminine causes.
I love it.
So I think we're out for a great time.
I
Perfect.
got celestial quartz.
Ooh.
Become inimitable. I love that.
Yeah.
Grow into your own inimitable self. Wisdom is a byproduct of your own becoming. But deep in the heart of the earth, celestial forms, layer by uneven layer, kind of like us, layer after layer.
Yes.
Perhaps in the distant past of her beginning, she was a regular quartz, but after centuries of responding to ever-present change in temperature, moisture, and even the shifting of tectonic plates, I am chills
Me
to my
too.
toes. She has flowed and morphed into unexpected shapes and textures. I have the
Perfect.
chills full
I
body.
do too. I do too.
We allow
What a
this is
perfect
what
card.
life does to each of us, building
Yeah.
our unique knowledge and wisdom until we become celestial ourselves. Holy guacamole.
I
Beautiful
know.
cards,
How
ladies.
beautiful.
And
Just
ethnicity is
beautiful.
correct. The sooner we stand together in peace and love. We have our plan together. We get rid of those
That's right.
that are not wanting to stand with us, and we're going to rise above.
We will.
You're fantastic. You're exactly right.
Yep.
Ethnicity, I
Absolutely.
love your music background. It just really
Stand and be
resonates with
candid.
me.
Yes. Yeah.
Rest in peace, David Crosby.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Oof, what a wonderful show. I
It
hope you guys
was.
enjoyed it. I hope
Oh, I
everybody
did.
in the chat room
Yeah.
enjoyed it. We did.
We hope
Yeah.
you had as much fun as we did.
And we're going to do a show on Aley's, and I don't remember the date, Aley, do you?
No, because we're going to tape it.
But we're going to tape it anyway.
Yes, but we probably have another live on there. Probably
Okay.
sometime in February we'll do
Okay.
something. Yeah.
That'd be great. We'd
Uh-huh.
love that. But
Oh,
we're
yes.
going to do the Ascended Master
Ascended
show with
Masters.
Aley. And
Mhm.
well, excuse me, you say who we chose.
I don't.
Kuan Yin.
Kuan Yin.
Kuan Yin.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
put you
No.
on the spot.
Sorry.
She's so
I was
empowering.
thinking in terms of when you're thinking about things that are coming and you don't believe the world is going to become so much better than it was. And then you look at the history of what women, what they could do and what they're now able to do and what's coming forward. How can you not believe?
And how can you not get excited with the cards we just read and everything?
How can you not
Absolutely.
believe things are going to go well? And it's going to be a great year.
It is. Just make sure you also set your boundaries. Don't let anybody step on you.
Exactly.
Stick with what you want.
Boundaries are super important for us females that don't know how to
Absolutely.
use
And that's
them.
why you drop those that are not
No longer serving you.
But don't know. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So when's your next show?
Probably Tuesday with the Dream Detectives. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Our Tuesday, we're doing a show on communicating with your pets.
Oh,
and that'll be our last
wonderful.
show. Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
There's a reason for that. We have a pet who's not doing well. And
Okay.
I know that we communicate with her all the time.
Yeah.
So
I have
it
one
was
like
a
that
time
right
to
now.
touch her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got cancer. She's
Sorry.
not going to be with us much longer, but right now she is super comfortable and is trotting around like a kitten. Well, maybe not
That's
quite
good.
a kitten, but not a 19-year-old
She'll
lady.
tell you when it's time.
And rules the
She will.
roost.
She
She-
definitely rules
Yes.
the roost. So we have a show Tuesday, and then Friday. Everybody send your light, please, to Heather. She's having
Thank
her
you.
neck surgery on Friday.
That's right.
And then we will be back, I think, a week or so after that. We're going to give her some time to heal.
Absolutely. Much love to you, Heather, and
Thank you.
good healing light.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
You guys, we love you. Thank you for being here today. As always, go out and shine your light. Let your freak flag fly. I love that one. That's from my 60s, 70s.
And send out love to everybody. Just glow.
Yeah.
And make sure everybody
Send that
gets it.
love out. And thank you for sending us so much love. And we'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.